I think the family dynamic changes. When Heather was first diagnosed, we were full-time caregivers for my mother as well. We had moved her from California to here. And so we were, and very thankfully, my husband was phenomenal with my mom. And so I was still working. He was retired. He had a daughter with brain cancer, a mother who was 24/7 care. So we had our hands full. Plus, his dad began to falter, and he became caregiver full time for his dad as well. So we sort of lived on a roller coaster. We didn't have time to do a whole lot of reflective thinking. So we were just moving along. I taught school. I had kids at the high school level every day. Um, we were so busy. Um, but I think we were all in denial. We were in denial for so long. Um, I kept going back to my dad and thinking about what my mom went through raising three young daughters. And back then, nobody talked about anything. You know, he never came home from the hospital. Um, and I kept thinking, what did she do? How did she make it through this? And it made me think, okay, I'm going to take charge. I'm taking care of her and her medical, Heather's and her medical, and we're just going to get through it. It wasn't until later, when I go back and read my journal that I constantly wrote, that I realized hope's not going to get us through this, that denial's not going to get us through this, that we have a very serious situation on our hands. But I kept thinking Heather was going to be the miracle. So we lived in denial for a long time. I think it wasn't until the end that I think everything started falling apart. Our oldest daughter was one of the basketball coaches actually at Iowa State when Heather was diagnosed. And she gave up that job to move back home to be by her sister. Our other daughter lived in Park City, and she probably struggled more because she didn't see us day to day, and so she didn't see everything that we did. And she told me later that she felt kind of guilty, pretty guilty, not kind of guilty, because she never realized how serious. She knew it was serious, but she never realized that it was going to be terminal. Our other daughter, Michelle, saw it a lot. My husband and I approach things very differently, and so he pretty much turned it over to me, I think, so that we would so it wouldn't strain us. I think we wound up talking better than we probably had. It brought us closer on so many different levels. And then we felt like we always needed to let our other two daughters know how important they are as well. We tried really hard. We're a small family, and we just tried really, really hard to keep all of that. I read book after book after book. So I was like trying to follow, like, don't let Michelle think she's not important. Don't let Amy think she's not important. John and I were saying, don't let each other think we're not important. And really, Heather was the number one, you know, in our lives at that moment. But, and, you know, we also did a lot of humor. Our family's a little weird, and humor gets us through and always has. And Heather was the comedian, so it was easy to do with her.